If you're reading this, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Now ask yourself, what brought me here? Was it curiosity? A whisper from the universe? Or perhaps an unshakable pull towards something greater than yourself? Whatever it is, know this: it's no accident. Your spirit has been searching for deeper truths, and today might just be the day those truths find you. Millennia-old wisdom, preserved in ancient papyrus, reveal that individuals marked with the crescent moon and the letter M are not ordinary. They carry a divine purpose and a spiritual mission. According to these sacred texts, such individuals are under the universe's protection, guided by unseen forces to fulfill a destiny beyond the material world. These markings are not mere coincidences but signs of a higher calling, reminding those who bear them that they were chosen to walk a path of enlightenment, transformation, and impact. Before we dive in, let me take a second to honor you. You, the one scrolling through these words right now. Whether you're tuning in from the vibrant streets of Lagos, the serene landscapes of Canada, the bustling cities of India, or anywhere else across Africa, the USA, England, the Philippines, or beyond, you matter. You are part of a global tapestry of souls seeking connection, growth, and meaning. Drop 888 in the comments if you feel that spark within you. Let me know where you're joining us from. I'd love to connect with you personally. Together, we're building more than an audience, we're creating a movement. Now, lean in close because what I'm about to share could shift something inside you. If any piece of our content has ever resonated with your heart, if it made you think, feel, or question, then consider this your cosmic wake-up call. This isn't just another message, it's an invitation to step into something extraordinary. By joining our channel club, you're not merely supporting a cause, you're becoming part of a spiritual mission so profound it will ripple through lives far beyond your own. The truth is simple: every cent you give isn't just a donation, it's a force of transformation. It turns compassion into action, hope into rescue, and love into life-saving change. Your support directly impacts abandoned and forgotten dogs, providing them with food, medical care, and a chance at a new beginning. But this goes beyond charity. This is sacred alchemy. When you give from the heart, that love returns to you tenfold, healing both the giver and the receiver. Together, we stand as protectors of the voiceless, warriors for the forgotten, and co-creators of a world where every life matters. This is bigger than all of us. It's about awakening to purpose, the realization that you were divinely guided here for a reason. Life isn't random. Every choice, every action, every heartbeat carries intention. And when you align yourself with a mission like this, you begin to see how interconnected we truly are. Healing others heals you. Protecting the vulnerable strengthens your own spirit. Fulfilling this calling elevates humanity as a whole. So stay with me until the end. Let's explore this journey together, not as passive observers, but as active participants in change. Trust me, you won't want to miss what comes next. Because sometimes the smallest actions create the biggest waves. And maybe, just maybe, the wave starts with you. Stay curious. Stay open. Stay committed. The best is yet to come. Let's talk about something that might make you uncomfortable but will ultimately set you free: the battle between flesh and spirit. It's a timeless struggle, one written into the very fabric of existence. On one side, there's the flesh, the part of us tethered to limitations, desires, fears, and human frailty. This is the voice that whispers doubt when opportunity knocks, that clings to comfort zones even when they suffocate growth, and that convinces us we're not enough. The flesh operates out of survival mode, governed by ego, fear, and short-term gratification. But here's the truth: living solely through the lens of the flesh keeps us trapped in cycles of mediocrity, pain, and unfulfilled potential. On the other hand, there's the spirit, the eternal essence within each of us, connected to divine strength, wisdom, and purpose. When we operate from the spirit, we tap into an infinite reservoir of courage, clarity, and resilience. We rise above circumstances instead of being controlled by them. Challenges become stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Decisions flow from alignment with higher principles rather than fleeting emotions or external pressures. Understanding this dynamic isn't just philosophical, it's practical. It's the key to overcoming life's greatest challenges and stepping fully into your power. Think about it. How often do you find yourself stuck in patterns dictated by fear? Maybe it's procrastination keeping you from pursuing your dreams, self-doubt sabotaging relationships, or anger clouding your judgment. These are all manifestations of the flesh, a lower frequency of consciousness that thrives on control, scarcity, and separation. But what if I told you there's another way? What if you could access a deeper wellspring of strength, one that doesn't rely on your own limited abilities but draws directly from the source itself? That's the promise of living in the Spirit. To live in the Spirit means surrendering not in weakness, but in profound trust. It means letting go of the need to micromanage every detail of your life and allowing divine intelligence to guide you. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to navigate life with effortless grace, while others appear perpetually weighed down by burdens? It's not luck, it's alignment. Those who walk in the Spirit understand that their true power lies not in brute force or sheer willpower, but in yielding to something greater than themselves. They know that when they partner with the divine, miracles happen. But don't mistake this for passivity. Living in the Spirit requires discipline, a different kind of discipline than what the flesh demands. While the flesh pushes you to hustle harder, chase validation, and cling to outcomes, the Spirit invites you to cultivate inner stillness, faith, and discernment. It asks you to listen deeply to your intuition, to the whispers of the universe, to the quiet nudges that often get drowned out by noise. This kind of listening takes practice, patience, and humility. Yet, the rewards are immeasurable. When you align with the Spirit, you stop fighting against the current of life and start flowing with it. Suddenly, doors open effortlessly, synchronicities abound, and solutions present themselves at exactly the right moment. Consider the story of someone who has overcome immense adversity not because they had extraordinary talent or resources, but because they tapped into spiritual fortitude. Perhaps it's a single mother working 3 jobs yet finding joy in her children's laughter, knowing she's fulfilling her divine assignment. Or maybe it's an entrepreneur who faced countless rejections but refused to give up, driven by an unwavering belief in their vision. These individuals aren't superhuman, they've simply learned to lean on the Spirit rather than relying solely on their flesh. Their secret? They've embraced the paradox that true strength comes from surrender. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Why does the flesh feel so convincing? Why does it shout louder than the Spirit sometimes? The answer lies in familiarity. The flesh is tangible, immediate, and predictable. It speaks the language of logic, fear, and urgency. Play it safe, it says. Don't take risks. Stay small. Meanwhile, the Spirit operates on faith, which can feel intangible and uncertain. Faith asks you to believe without seeing, to act without guarantees, to trust even when everything around you screams otherwise. And yes, that can be terrifying. But remember this, fear is a liar. Fear wants to keep you shackled to the known, while faith beckons you toward expansion. Overcoming the dominance of the flesh begins with awareness. You must first recognize its tricks, the ways it masquerades as rationality, protection, or even ambition. Once you identify these patterns, you can begin to dismantle them. Replace fear-based thoughts with affirmations rooted in divine truth. Trade frantic striving for intentional action guided by inner peace. Surround yourself with reminders of your spiritual identity, scriptures, mantras, mentors, or practices that anchor you in your higher self. Over time, the Spirit grows stronger and the flesh loses its grip. Living in the Spirit also transforms how you view challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth and refinement. Every setback becomes a setup for a comeback. Every failure becomes feedback. Every storm becomes a chance to deepen your roots. Why? Because the Spirit knows that nothing can truly harm your soul. Pain may touch your body, disappointment may pierce your heart, but your essence remains untouched. This perspective shifts everything. Suddenly, you're no longer afraid to take bold steps, speak hard truths, or stand alone if necessary. You realize that your worth isn't tied to external validation, it's inherent, divinely bestowed, and immutable. Moreover, embracing the spirit empowers you to serve others from a place of overflow rather than depletion. When you live in the flesh, giving feels like sacrifice. You worry about running out, burning out, or losing yourself in the process. But when you live in the spirit, giving becomes joyful, abundant, and effortless. Love flows freely because it's sourced from infinity, not scarcity. Compassion multiplies because it's fueled by divine grace, not personal effort. In this state, you become a conduit of healing not only for others but also for yourself. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, every moment of presence ripples outward, creating waves of transformation. So where do you stand today? Are you operating primarily from the flesh or the spirit? Be honest with yourself, but don't judge. Both are part of the human experience, and both have lessons to teach. The goal isn't perfection, it's progression. Start small. Choose one area of your life where you want to invite more spiritual alignment. Maybe it's your mindset, your relationships, your work, or your health. Then take one step forward. Pray, meditate, journal, or simply sit in silence and ask for guidance. Trust that the answers will come, often in unexpected ways. As we continue this journey together, remember this: you are more than your doubts, your fears, your failures, or your limitations. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. And within you lies a power far greater than anything the world can throw your way. So stay with me. Keep reading. Keep exploring. Because the next revelation might be the one that changes everything for you, for those around you, and for the world. It's important to mention one of the most profound mysteries of the human experience: the concept of being born again. It's a phrase that carries immense weight, yet its depth often eludes casual understanding. To be born again isn't merely a religious cliché or a metaphorical nod to personal growth. It's a seismic shift in your very essence, a transformation so radical that it rewrites the code of your spiritual DNA. This isn't about tweaking habits or adopting new philosophies, it's about becoming an entirely new creation. And when this happens, everything changes: how you see yourself, how you interact with others, and how you move through the world. Imagine for a moment the caterpillar cocooned in darkness, undergoing what seems like destruction but is actually metamorphosis. Its old form dissolves completely, making way for wings it never knew existed. Similarly, when you are spiritually reborn, your former identity, the one shaped by societal expectations, past traumas, limiting beliefs, and the relentless pull of the flesh, begins to dissolve. In its place emerges a radiant, empowered version of yourself, aligned with divine purpose and equipped to soar. This process doesn't happen overnight, nor is it always comfortable. But make no mistake, it is inevitable once you surrender to the call of transformation. At the core of this rebirth lies a fundamental truth: you are not who you've been told you are. For years, maybe decades, you've worn labels assigned by family, culture, media, and even your own inner critic. Labels like "you're not good enough," "broken," "unworthy," "you're ordinary." These identities were never yours to begin with. They were projections, distortions, illusions. When you step into your reborn self, you shed these false narratives. You realize that your true identity is rooted in something far greater than any earthly title or temporary circumstance. You are a child of the universe, crafted with intention, loved unconditionally, and imbued with infinite potential. This revelation does more than boost your confidence, it recalibrates your entire existence. Suddenly, the lens through which you view life shifts dramatically. Where once you saw obstacles, you now see opportunities. Where once you felt victimized, you now feel empowered. Challenges that would have crushed your old self become catalysts for growth in your new self. Why? Because your foundation has changed. Your sense of worth is no longer tied to external achievements or validations. Instead, it rests securely in the knowledge that you are divinely designed, uniquely gifted, and irreplaceable. But here's the beautiful irony: while this transformation elevates your sense of self-worth, it simultaneously humbles you. The ego, the part of you that craves recognition, control, and superiority, begins to lose its grip. As you embrace your spiritual rebirth, you recognize that your greatness isn't meant to inflate your pride but to serve the collective good. Your gifts aren't for hoarding, they're for sharing. Your story isn't just for you, it's for inspiring others. This duality of empowerment and humility becomes the hallmark of your new identity. Navigating the world as a reborn individual feels different too. Relationships take on new dimensions. People who once drained your energy may naturally fall away, while those who uplift and align with your higher purpose will gravitate toward you. Boundaries become clearer because you understand your value and refuse to compromise it. Conversations deepen because you approach them from a place of authenticity rather than pretense. Even mundane tasks carry a sacredness, as you begin to see every action as an opportunity to express love, creativity, and gratitude. Yet, let's address the resistance that often arises during this transition. Change, especially at such a foundational level, can be disorienting. There may be moments when you question whether you're truly transformed or simply fooling yourself. Old patterns may resurface, tempting you to revert to familiar ways of thinking and behaving. Doubts may creep in, whispering that you're unworthy of this new identity. These are natural parts of the process. Transformation isn't linear, it's cyclical. Each time you choose to reaffirm your reborn self, you solidify your new reality. Each time you reject the lies of the past, you reinforce your spiritual DNA. One of the most liberating aspects of being born again is the freedom from comparison. In your old identity, you may have measured your worth against others, your looks, your success, your possessions. But in your reborn state, you understand that comparison is futile because there is no one else like you. Your journey is uniquely yours, tailored specifically for your growth and contribution. This realization frees you to celebrate others without envy and to pursue your path without apology. You stop competing and start creating. You stop conforming and start shining. Another powerful outcome of this identity shift is the ability to forgive not just others, but yourself. Holding on to resentment, guilt, or shame keeps you anchored in the past, preventing you to fully embody your new self. Forgiveness, however, releases those chains. It allows you to step into the fullness of who you are now, unburdened by what was. When you forgive, you declare that your present and future are more important than your past. You affirm that your reborn identity is stronger than any wound or regret. Living as a reborn individual also means embracing responsibility not in a burdensome way, but in a deeply empowering one. You come to understand that your thoughts, words, and actions carry weight. They ripple outward, affecting not only your life but also the lives of those around you. This awareness inspires you to live intentionally, choosing love over fear, kindness over indifference, and courage over complacency. You become a beacon of light, consciously contributing to the elevation of humanity. Perhaps the most awe-inspiring aspect of this transformation is its eternal nature. While physical bodies age and eventually return to the earth, your reborn spirit remains timeless. The changes you undergo aren't confined to this lifetime, they echo across eternity. Every act of love, every moment of grace, every decision made from your highest self leaves an indelible mark on the fabric of existence. Knowing this gives your life profound meaning and urgency. You realize that you're not just living for today, you're co-creating tomorrow, both for yourself and for generations to come. So, where do you stand in this process of identity transformation? Are you still clinging to the remnants of your old self, afraid to let go? Or have you begun to taste the freedom that comes with being reborn? Either way, know this, the invitation is always open. The choice to transform is yours alone, but the power to sustain that transformation comes from above. Trust in the process? Imagine this, two individuals stand before a massive, impenetrable door. It looms tall and unyielding, blocking their path forward. Both are determined to get through, but they approach the challenge in vastly different ways. One person throws all their energy into brute force, pushing, pulling, kicking, and pounding against the door until exhaustion takes its toll. Despite their sweat and determination, the door remains steadfastly shut. The other individual pauses, steps back, and listens intently for guidance. They hear a whisper, a divine instruction, and act on it with precision. Suddenly, the lock clicks open effortlessly, revealing a pathway filled with light and opportunity. This analogy speaks volumes about the power of divine instruction versus human effort. So often, we find ourselves standing before metaphorical locked doors in life challenges, obstacles, or seemingly impossible situations that defy our best attempts to resolve them. We push harder, work longer, and try smarter, believing that sheer willpower or clever strategy will eventually break through. But here's the truth: some doors simply cannot be forced open by human strength alone. These are the doors that require divine wisdom, insight, and direction. And when we humble ourselves enough to seek that guidance, breakthroughs happen not because of us, but because of the infinite intelligence guiding us. Let's unpack why relying solely on human effort so often leads to frustration and burnout. When we operate purely from our own understanding, we're limited by what we can see, know, and comprehend. Our perspective is finite, shaped by past experiences, biases, and assumptions. Even at our most brilliant, we're still bound by the constraints of time, space, and intellect. This isn't to diminish the value of hard work or critical thinking; these qualities are essential tools in navigating life. However, when faced with challenges beyond our natural capacity, leaning exclusively on human effort becomes like trying to move a mountain with a teaspoon. It's inefficient, exhausting, and ultimately futile. On the other hand, divine instruction operates on an entirely different frequency. It taps into a source of knowledge and power far greater than anything we possess within ourselves. Think of it as having access to a master architect's blueprint while everyone else is blindly hammering away at random walls. Divine guidance doesn't just show you how to solve problems, it reveals solutions you couldn't have conceived on your own. It illuminates paths hidden in plain sight, uncovers resources you didn't realize were available, and orchestrates circumstances in ways that defy logic. In short, divine instruction transforms impossibilities into inevitabilities. Consider the countless stories throughout history where divine intervention turned the tide of events. Moses standing before the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army closing in, an insurmountable obstacle if ever there was one. Yet, when he followed divine instruction to stretch out his staff, the waters parted, creating a miraculous escape route. Or Esther, a young queen facing overwhelming odds as she risked her life to save her people. Her success wasn't due to political savvy or strategic alliances alone; it came from fasting, prayer, and obedience to divine timing. These examples remind us that when we align ourselves with divine wisdom, even the most daunting barriers crumble under the weight of heavenly authority. But here's the catch: receiving divine instruction requires humility and patience, qualities that don't always come naturally to the flesh. The ego hates waiting. It wants immediate results, tangible evidence, and clear answers. Divine guidance, however, often arrives quietly, subtly, and sometimes indirectly. It may come as a gentle nudge during prayer, a scripture that jumps off the page, a dream that feels unusually vivid, or even advice from someone unexpected. Learning to recognize and trust these whispers is crucial. Ignoring them or dismissing them as coincidence can mean missing the very breakthrough you've been praying for. One of the most powerful aspects of divine instruction is how it shifts your focus from doing to being. Instead of obsessively striving to figure things out, you learn to rest in the assurance that you're being led step by step. This doesn't mean passivity, rather. It means acting with intentionality based on divine cues instead of self-reliance. For instance, imagine you're seeking clarity about a career decision. You could spend months analyzing pros and cons, consulting experts, and weighing options ad nauseum. Or, you could quiet your mind, invite divine wisdom into the process, and then take inspired action when prompted. More often than not, the latter approach yields results that align perfectly with your purpose and peace. Another profound benefit of seeking divine instruction is the sense of partnership it fosters. When you acknowledge that you're not meant to navigate life alone, that you have access to a higher power invested in your success, you begin to experience a deep sense of collaboration. Challenges no longer feel isolating or overwhelming because you know you're co-creating with the universe. Every decision becomes infused with meaning, every setback carries a lesson, and every victory feels like a shared triumph. This partnership transforms fear into faith, doubt into certainty, and struggle into synergy. Of course, walking in divine instruction isn't without its tests. There will be moments when the guidance you receive seems counterintuitive or inconvenient. Perhaps you're asked to wait longer than you'd like, give up something precious, or take a leap of faith into unknown territory. These moments test your trust. Are you willing to follow even when the path isn't immediately clear? Are you prepared to trade short-term comfort for long-term fulfillment? Remember, divine instruction isn't designed to make life easy, it's designed to make life meaningful. Each test strengthens your ability to discern and obey, preparing you for greater responsibilities and blessings ahead. It's also worth noting that divine instruction often works in layers. Rarely does it provide a complete roadmap up front. Instead, it offers breadcrumbs, one revelation at a time. This incremental unfolding serves multiple purposes. First, it keeps you dependent on the source of guidance, ensuring you stay connected and attuned. Second, it prevents overwhelm by breaking down complex journeys into manageable steps. Finally, it builds anticipation and excitement, turning each new insight into a treasure hunt for truth. As you faithfully follow each breadcrumb, the bigger picture gradually emerges, leaving you awestruck at the intricacy of the plan. Living under divine instruction also radically alters how you view failure. In the realm of human effort, failure is often seen as a reflection of personal inadequacy, a sign that you didn't try hard enough, think fast enough, or plan thoroughly enough. But in the context of divine guidance, failure takes on a completely different meaning. It becomes feedback, a signal that either you missed a cue or the timing wasn't right. Rather than wallowing in shame or defeat, you recalibrate, reposition, and remain open to further instructions. This mindset shift liberates you from perfectionism and allows you to embrace experimentation without fear. Perhaps the most transformative aspect of divine instruction is how it reshapes your identity. Over time, as you consistently experience the accuracy and reliability of divine guidance, you begin to see yourself less as an isolated individual and more as a vessel for divine expression. Your confidence grows not because of your own abilities, but because of your unwavering connection to the source of all wisdom. You start to embody qualities like peace, patience, and discernment, knowing that you're never truly alone in any situation. This internal transformation radiates outward, influencing how others perceive and respond to you. Ultimately, what does this mean for you today? Are you still battering locked doors with brute force, hoping they'll eventually yield? Or are you ready to pause, listen, and allow divine instruction to guide you through? If you choose the latter, prepare to witness miracles unfold in ways you never imagined possible. Breakthroughs that once seemed elusive will suddenly become accessible. Opportunities that appeared distant will materialize right before your eyes. Relationships that felt strained will heal and deepen. All because you chose to partner with a power greater than yourself.